Hello everyone, I'm back in office now and you're back at our Ed Talks. Over the week, we had a ton of questions from you all asking us about employability, about industry-led professions, about permanent residence, about career options, about program choice, and how do we match up all of them into one single thread. For that, today we have a special guest from Canada and a remarkable individual who epitomizes dedication to workforce development and economic resilience. Joining us is Robert Collins, Senior Advisor of Workforce Initiatives, whose extensive background in government, non-profit organizations, and his passion for bridging the gap between talent and industry make him a true beacon of innovation in southwestern Ontario. With his unwavering commitment to connecting companies with skilled workforce, Robert's insights are really invaluable. And based on your feedback and questions, we now delve into discussions on the future of labor markets and economic sustainability. And let's not forget, Robert is not only a seasoned professional, but also a proud alumnus of Fanshawe College in Canada. And welcome to the incredible Robert. So, Robert, let's start with your personal journey and how it led to your current role as a Senior Advisor of Workforce Initiatives at the London Economic Development Corporation.
Well, thank you very much for that question. I've been very fortunate that since I arrived in Canada as an international student, I've had lots of different experiences. So I managed to, after a number of years, work for both the provincial government and then the municipal government. And then I got, by the way, I attended Fanshawe College as well as the University of Western Ontario, and I took some courses at King's as well, because I know that you represent all of them. Yes. So I just wanted to mention that as well. That I managed to work managing an employment service, and then I've gone to the London Economic Development Corporation, and that's the organization which meets and tries to encourage new businesses to come and set up operation in London. And then we work with businesses once they've arrived to grow and celebrate their existence in London. So as part of that, the key driver of our community success is having access to quality talent. And that's where Fanshawe College plays a critical role in making sure that we've got well-trained people from around the world to feed our growing economy.
Okay. So for those in our audience who may not be familiar with all of this, could you just tell us something more about this LEDC, what it represents, and what is the significance of fostering workforce development?
Oh, very happy to do that. The London Economic Development is that business development arm for the City of London. So we're out there prospecting, meeting with companies from around the world that want to find that place in Canada, which then they can grow their enterprise in Canada to feed Canada, not only Canada, but also North America. So we have lots of companies coming from India, actually, exploring, establishing their operations in London, Ontario. But we do that by concentrating on the sectors which produce net new money to our community and new opportunities. So whether that be in health, whether that be in information technology, advanced manufacturing, those and agri-food, those sort of kind of key areas where new opportunities are developing and growing.
Okay. A lot of our students at Canam, they ask us about London as an educational hub. So tell us more about London City, how important are international students to London City, to its cultural diversity and its economic vitality?
Oh, I'm very happy to do that as well. If you think about the city of London, is the 5th largest city in Ontario by population and by land size. It's also the fastest growing census metropolitan area in Ontario. And as such, by the way, our workforce has grown by 50,000 over the last 5 years. Oh. But that sounds good. We've just done a report that identifies that there is 40,000 jobs that require talent over the next 6 to 7 years. And that's where the role of international students is critical. What does that 40,000 represent? It represents a lot of people who are going to be retiring. So they're creating jobs through every level of organizations, my gray hair might give you a clue that I might be one of them. There is also growth happening, not only growth from the companies that already exist, but we've been attracting companies from around the world to establish businesses in London. So we have a French company that's going to be making nitrile gloves. We have a Vietnamese company, a pharmaceutical company, and we've just attracted Power Corporation, which is a major division of Volkswagen, which is going to be building their first North American battery plant for the automobile industry. That's, by the way, going to create 2,000 net new jobs. So that's in addition to that 40,000 that I mentioned. So international students, not only but by coming and learning in London, we're hoping that many will stay because of the great opportunities. But if not, if they come back home, they're also getting a first-class education.
Really interesting times, Robert.
Yeah.
So would you say it's easy for international students to navigate daily life in the city, find accommodation, find grocery stores, get transport, all that?
Well, just to start, there are, by the way, 1 in 4 of us came from somewhere else around the world. Okay? So you're not alone. There's 170 languages spoken in London.
Oh.
Okay? So London, while it's a population of about 500,000 people, it has grocery stores, food, restaurants for every taste. So that's one. Also, it has, if you want to play cricket in London, you can.
Oh.
Okay. And I say that because of test matches going on at the moment.
Yeah.
As well as if you think about, depending on your religious affiliation, there's the whole range of whether you're Christian, Hindi, whatever. There's the full range of religious opportunities. So we're a multicultural city with lots of opportunities.
Okay. So Canam Partnership with Fano is many decades old. Mm-hmm. So how do you think such a partnership between a authorized consultancy, a direct agency with a public institution like Fano, how does it contribute positively to the international student environment and the success, basically?
Well, I think the way that consultants can both realistically and effectively inform those students about those opportunities, and to make sure that it's very different. I was an international student without the benefit of a consultant, and I can assure you that I didn't really know how to navigate any of the systems, and I wasn't very well prepared. Now, between what the consultants do, also the way, say, Fano College has got Fano Cares and Fano Works and other supports to help people more realistically understand what life is like. It is a change.
True.
You cannot minimize that from the comfort of your family support system, etc., to moving into another community. But on the other hand, that is a life lesson. And most of us are going to change communities over time. And so learning how to make that transition effectively the first time, it will set you up for future success in your career.
Yeah, so overall, actually, it even helps towards better employability for a student in terms of career success and all of that, right?
Exactly.
So tell us something about London's economy and its major industries. And also, how important is it for students to consider all of this before they make a program choice?
I think it's really, that's why I would urge people, by the way, to look at the 4 reports, which you can find on the news section from our reports. Because we, as I say, we have broken down by what's called National Occupation Code, what the demand will be in these key sectors. So you will, say if you're interested in construction,
right,
you will be able to see what construction roles are in the highest demand. Then you will be able to see how the Fano College programs correlate to those opportunities. How do those programs specifically prepare you? The same in health, the same in advanced manufacturing, the same in agri-food. You can see each one of those. And just bear in mind that roles in supply chain, roles in accounting, roles in human resources, roles in finance and accommodation are across every sector.
Yeah. The students who visit Canam, more than ever before now, really want to know more about employment opportunities, part-time, full-time.
Yes.
So how does Fano support its graduates in terms of career placement, internships, entrepreneurial ventures within the region? Anything else?
Well, the Fanshore has extensive career services, and they run at least 2 major career fairs every year. They have an Ignite conference early on in the fall, all helping students understand employer expectations. By the way, those career fairs and other things, already for the one that's just coming up in March, there's 140 employers already registered. Wow. We're the ones who help promote that. We also actually, we in partnership with Fanshore run 2 career fairs for the broader community as well, which international students are welcome to. When you go on to our and I'm sorry, I'm going to promote our websites for a minute.
Absolutely.
London Tech Jobs, London Manufacturing Jobs, and London Health Jobs. Right now, when you aggregate them, there's over 4,700 job titles open in Canada's London right now.
Fantastic.
Okay? So you can see from those websites, and then the aggregator is called workforcedevelopment.ca. People can see before they come, they can see those range of opportunities. They can look at those growth reports, it's called employment prospects. They can see those future opportunities, and they can be assured that the Fanshore career consultants, as well as their faculty, are using those to make sure their programs are relevant to those future needs.
Okay. So what do you foresee as employment prospects in the coming years in London City, and how do these align with the evolving requirements of the labor market?
Well, that's where the combination. By the way, you probably know this, but each of the Fanshore programs have something called a program advisory committee.
Right.
So they bring employers in to review the curriculum, to make sure, and they do that regularly, to make sure that the curriculum aligns with what the industry needs. But also that provides a whole range of contacts for both the faculty and for the students. So that's what's making sure that those programs are relevant to those needs.
So how long does it take to align these needs versus requirements so that the students become more employable?
Well, normally they make adjustments. There are small adjustments made every year. So those program advisory committees come in every year, but then there's a major review every 3 years.
Okay.
So, and by the way, Fanshore College is, if you were to look at the range of programs this year, and then the ones next year, you will see new programs are constantly being added and created. But they don't just come out of the air, they come out of what the employers say are the needs.
Okay, and as the student population grows across Canada, also in Ontario, what about affordable housing, transportation system, and more infrastructural and industrial developments within the City of London?
Well, just to let you know, first of all, let me deal with the industrial development. Our role as an economic development organization is to introduce industry to the kind of lands and properties where they can develop their business. So that's one of our key roles, which is really sort of encouraging that investment. Secondly, the City of London is investing, and actually, you might find some of our major roads are under construction right now, just like your roads are under construction all the time.
Yes.
Because we're putting in an advanced transportation system within London. So that's a bus so you can use one bus pass which, by the way, all students get a bus pass to use that bus pass. So that's all built in. Now, what's really good about it, by the way, is this new transit system. Priority areas are exactly where the Fanshore College locations are, whether it be downtown, South London, Oxford Street, or the aviation program. They're all on this new transportation route.
Okay.
Now we get to affordable accommodation. So if you wanted a 2-bedroom apartment in London, Ontario, it would be about $2,200. So I urge people to you can go onto a site called rentals.ca, and you can actually go and see what the cost is in London in comparison to other communities. And you will find that that's pretty affordable. Now currently, because we've had this rapid growth, we do not have, we have a vacancy rate, but it's not as high as we would like to create more opportunity for people. So what are we doing about it? we actually have a city plan to build 48,000 new residences over the next 10 years. So every year we're at the moment producing about 3,000 to 4,000 building permits to encourage that development. So what's good news about that is not only is creating the opportunity, but it's creating the construction jobs as well, and the construction supervisory and the design jobs that are part of that.
Okay. So you said London has a diverse population.
Yeah.
So what impact does it have on the city's culture, recreational activities, people's hobbies, and so on?
Well, what's been powerful is that it's sort of changed. When I first arrived, there were very limited food choices. Now there's a whole range of food choices from around the world. So whether you're from Nigeria or from Kerala, you can be able to get a different food choice that matches. Grocery stores. There's grocery stores with the full supplies in London. As I mentioned earlier, depending on if you have a religion or not, there's the opportunity to practice that in London. So now you get to recreation and sport. As I mentioned, cricket or badminton or any of the other sports, there's a full range. But of course, I'm sure that if you're coming from India, you want to learn how to skate.
Yes.
So for instance, you can have the free opportunity in some of our parks to learn actually how to skate on public ice and in the middle of our winters. And you haven't mentioned weather yet.
Yes.
Okay, because in where we are in London, we are one of the most southerly parts of Canada. Most people think of us huge snowstorms and so on. Actually, we're in between two Great Lakes. Our location between Toronto and Detroit is one of the most southerly parts of Canada. We've got about 9 states of the United States that are further north from us. If you look at where our line of latitude is, it runs from us to Madrid to Florence. Now I would urge your viewers to look at the 46 degrees latitude to see where that crosses in India, which is just slightly north of where we're sitting today. So think about the weather here, and that's the same kind of weather patterns really in London, Ontario. So our winters are not as severe as the winters you will find in other parts of Canada.
Thank you. Robert, you spoke about new programs.
Yeah.
Can you give us some examples of some of the new programs that Fanshawe has started or is planning to start?
Well, you know what's marvelous is that Fanshawe, when they hear from us that we're bringing a new company in and there are new opportunities. I'll give it one example is, for instance, we've just recently developed North America's largest chicken producing plant. Maple Leaf Foods is now processing more chickens than anywhere else in North America. It's highly computerized, state of the art. So as soon as Fanshawe College learned that was happening, they established 3 different food processing programs to help prepare people for that opportunity. In addition, I mentioned just a few minutes ago, the Power Corporation of VW. Fanshawe is on the cutting edge of that, developing green technology programs that are all going to be feeding that, not only the Power Corporation, but the other companies that are going to be coming along in tandem with that opportunity. So that's the power of having the sort of those industry insights, trends, information, and then having a responsive educational institution that then develops effective programs to meet those employer needs.
Right. Robert, innovation and entrepreneurship are ever trending buzzwords.
Yes,
now,
they are buzzwords.
Yes. But how does the City of London really foster innovation and entrepreneurship among students?
Well, we're very, very fortunate that we have both at Fanshawe College, which we have Leap Junction, which is a special program which any student, whatever discipline they're coming from, can participate in and find out about entrepreneurship programs. And to learn the entrepreneur's journey. And as well, by the way, there's a parallel program at the University of Western Ontario at the Morissette Institute. And by the way, what's really fortunate is that the London Economic Development Corporation helped start both of those programs.
Okay.
So, but in addition to that though, if you think about somebody who wants to start a business, there's first finding out about all the rules, Then there's and all of the supports and how do you organize your budget, how do you hire people, all of those skill sets, which Leap Junction can help you with. Once you've established that, then you have to look for sources of money. So both within our community, we now have some venture capital companies that can support that. And then once you're starting to scale up, that's when LEDC comes to help and can find business properties for you to develop to help with your business, and then also to help introduce you to government loans and supports to help you develop your business. So we've got a pretty ripe and welcoming environment for people who want to establish their business.
Okay. So, in your role as a senior advisor in the workforce initiatives,
Yes.
How do you think, what is crucial for bridging the gap between academia and industry?
Well, one is industry engagement in academia. In other words, one thing is and we're still working away at that. Businesses are very, very busy running their operations. But they have woken up now that if they do not engage effectively with education, then they're not going to be the preferred choice by talent coming out of educational institutions. So part of our role is to make sure that those companies are aware that a Fanshawe College wants to hear from them, and then to think about those pathways. To also get, and to not just get the human resources people engaged, but to get the actual technical managers of different areas actively engaged. So we're finding that companies have woken up to the need to do that. That many years ago, they just think that education would provide people and they would show up at their door. Now they know that they actually have to start making an inroad throughout a student's life to be a preferred or an employer of choice.
Okay. Okay. Counselors at Canam are very keen on this one question. They want to know if you've got any upcoming projects or initiatives to, increase or enhance the appeal of London and Southwest Ontario for international students.
Well, we have lots of different. One thing I would urge any international student to do is to actually look at our website, ledc.com, where the news section there is constantly telling the stories about new companies coming to London and their developments. You'll see that we're constantly producing new materials about London, telling the stories of those companies and those opportunities. So we believe that sort of helps tell that story and has that encouragement for people.
Okay.
Well, I can go on a little bit. We also,
please.
As I mentioned earlier, we are running those job fairs. We have those 3 job boards that somebody can check every day to see what kinds of jobs are happening in technology or in the healthcare sector or in manufacturing. They can see that pulse of growth and development that's occurring.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for all your insights.
Okay, thank you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
It's been a great discussion, shedding light on the importance of workforce development, the role of international students in fostering cultural diversity and economic growth, and the future of education in London and Southwest Ontario. To our listeners, we hope you found today's episode as informative and inspiring as we did. Continue posting your questions and stay tuned for more such industry-led conversations coming up on Ed Talks. Until next time, take care and keep exploring.